So guys, today we're going to be covering Mars in the 9th house in this beautiful jungly place. Let's get started. So what happens when Mars comes into your 9th house, or Mars is in your 9th house in the birth chart? What is 9th house? 9th house is a house of higher learning, meaning higher learning of spirituality. It is known as a house of pilgrimage, house of things that you believe that are higher than yourself, pretty much. And this is why 9th house could be anything. 9th house for a neo-Nazi guy would be considered as a house that what kind of set of beliefs this person might have. So you could still see that from the 9th house. 9th house represents father. However, it really doesn't represent father. It actually represents teaching of father, teaching of fatherly figures, because house of father is the 10th house. Okay, because directly opposite to it is the house of mother. So here, and also 9th house is a house of your luck. What do I mean by that? It's pretty much known as a house of treasure. They call it in our language like bhagya, but it's literally the house that unlocks most of the features of the houses. So let's say your 2nd house represents wealth, 11th house represents gains, 5th house represents speculative business, children, education, 7th house represents marriage. All these things are considered, in a way, wealth. Now, all these things can be, there for you to have. But the key for this is in the 9th house. The 9th house holds the key of your fortune. So once you unlock the 9th house, all the other houses start unlocking themselves. Okay? So, and what is Mars? Mars is a soldier. Mars is in all the energies in your life. Like, however you react to certain things, whether you take action towards them or you're lazy towards them, what kind of action it is, is it angry, is it calm? All of it is by Mars. Mars is your willpower. It's your courage to do things in life. So what happens when these two things come together? Well, first of all, it creates a lot of disagreements with your teachers, especially your father. Because here, the soldier doesn't really like the environment of being told what to do. Okay? Here, soldier wants to be able to learn on his own mistake, and then, perceive as some sort of a wisdom in their life. But here what happens is that they get into disagreements with their father, because father says do this, and you feel like, no, I need to do this. Your teacher says you should do this way, you want to do it your own way. However, these people like to find teachers that are compatible with their mindset. So if they feel that between 12 and 3 p.m. they should do art instead of English, and if there's a teacher who supports that, he says, yes, I have this class, you can come and do art here. And they will like that, they will listen to that teacher, because now it's aligning with their mindset. And since 9th house is a house of distant travel, what it does in your youth, maybe you could have been separated from the father. Either you could have gone to a boarding school, like in India they usually do that. You could have gone to military school in the Western society. Or what could have happened, your father works a lot, and he was traveling a lot. Okay, so you didn't have that very close connection with the father. Your father could have passed away at an early age. Okay, so all these things are seen from that. So it creates an early separation with your gurus, with your father. Okay, and Mars, from this point, from the 9th house, is able to create and find their own higher set of beliefs. And this may not be actually wrong. Like Mars is a soldier who wants to follow directions. Okay, but Mars here, Mars is originally a good guy. He's a soldier. He wants to fight for the right things. So here Mars looks for a religion that maybe is about believing in the right things, fighting for the right things. But what could happen is they may not agree with their own set of, religious beliefs and cultural values that they have grown up with. They want to find their own. Because a soldier wants to hunt for its own food. Soldier doesn't want to be given food. So they want to go out and find their own, blessings by the god. And since Mars has 100% aspect on the 12th house, they have very strong imagination. The Mars is energy. So now that energy is now being spread to the 12th house of imagination, of donation, of foreign travel. So traveling becomes a big part for these guys, and most likely for work, because Mars in the 9th house is a soldier who's out there to work, who's going to go on long distance travel, but eventually come back, because 9th house is a house of pilgrimage. Pilgrimage, you take it and you come back. So they go for work and then they come back. They may go for some religious belief, they'll come back. But in this process, their imagination is very strong, and Mars helps this person gain, tremendous imagination, especially in publication, because 3rd and 9th house are publication. And so these guys can actually become writers with this position. They can become very energetic salespeople, because Mars has its aspect on the 3rd house of courage, media, salesmanship, not higher learning, but basic learning, like street learning. Street smart can be seen from the 3rd house. So they're very street smart people. From this placement also, Mars can have disagreements with the mother and mother's side of family also, because Mars 8th aspect, which is a 100% aspect, is now looking at the 4th house of mother and mother's family also. However, this is very good position for somebody who wants to get into real estate business, business of owning land. Because what is Mars? Mars is about fighting and putting that flag down. Say, hey, I won. This is my victory. And land is where he's able to do that. So Mars is very good at acquiring land with this position. Okay, but obviously you have to see what dasha you're running into, what sign placement is running. If Mars is debilitated, definitely disagreements with the father, with the higher gurus, unless Jupiter is sitting with it, which can nullify it, because Jupiter is then excelled. So then it balances out. So it may not be so disagreements. Okay, there'll just be a lot of exchange of energy, like very aggressive learning it can show. But debilitated Mars can show a lot of disagreements with the father. People actually get fist fights with their father in this position. But if Mars is excelled, you bet your father would be a government worker. He would be an engineer. He could be working in publication field, but more so a government and an engineering and scene with this placement towards the father. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis on Mars in the 9th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know more about astrology and want to learn the secrets of it, check out the link below and check out my articles there. Read them, you'll gain knowledge. Check out my book, Astrology, the Speed of Light. And once you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart to see where your Mars is placed and where other planets are placed, so you can know yourself better. Otherwise, see you tomorrow.